Hello and welcome to today's live stream. We are going to be flying from Innsbruck, Austria over to London Gatwick Airport. A couple things we're going to be looking at here. This is the ORBX Innsbruck Airport. So we're going to take a quick look at here before we leave. I've got PACX running. So it'll have some background stuff going on, giving us some crew for the flight. And also when we get to Gatwick, I'm running an improvement mod, which is adding some stuff to the airport to give it a better feel for what she actually looks like. So we are here at Innsbruck. If we just turn around, we can see the airport here. It's very well modeled. Looks fantastic. One thing we had last time I was streaming in and did this trip in the opposite direction, the landing, we'll say we had issues with the landing. And the main issue with that was there was huge humps and elevation changes in the runway. So did a little bit of research, and what that was is it was overlaying the default airport. So I had to delete the default airport so that the ORBX airport would lie properly here. Now my landing, I was a little high and a little fast, but once we were down, the runway didn't help and it was bouncing us all over the place. So that has now been resolved and we should have a good flight out of here. So we are flying the Airbus A320neo. There she is there in that beautiful Austrian Airlines livery. So we're going to hop on board and let's start getting the aircraft set up to go. All right, we're in. We're cold and dark. Once again, I've got my checklist and we are going to run through it. And I'm running the Airbus A320nx mod with the improvements. So let's get the batteries on. We have external power, so we'll get the external power moving as well. You can hear everything kick on. So the chocks have been removed. Ground power unit is connected. Thrust levers are at idle. Batteries are on and reading good. External power is on. Once again, I'm running my new honeycomb yoke, and because of that, I don't have a throttle anymore, and I've lost some of the pre-programmed buttons. So it'll be a bit of head movement as we move around, clicking switches. External powers are on. ADIRs, let's get them up and running. It's 1, 2, and 3. Panel displays are all on, but we'll turn up the lights on all of them. There we go. We'll do our overhead. About there. E-cams. We'll get our integrated panel and we'll do 2 clicks on the Mcdo just to bring it up so we can see it. So there we go. We'll get some lights on as well. That's nav lights and logo lights are on. Landing gear lever is confirmed down and flaps are confirmed up and spoilers are retracted. Fuel quantity is good. It's a short flight. We're gonna increase it slightly when the fuel truck gets here, but that's good for that. So there is the seat belts and no smoking going on, and let's go to ground services and we will get the ramp connection. We will get the fuel, bags, and catering. So they should be bringing the ramp truck in. There she is. One of my favorite ways of getting on board aircraft, walking out over the ramp, climbing the stairs. Excellent views of the airplane. So now with PACX, we can go into PACX and we can once he's in place, we'll start the loading. We have 109 passengers today, heading over to London. It's almost there. Door is open. You can see the cargo doors are open. The cabin door at the back is open for the catering. And good enough. So we'll get the passengers coming on board. And they're going to start loading. So de-ice we're not going to need. It's a beautiful clear day out there. Transponder we'll leave at 7,000. That's fine. I'll throw the beacon on. The emergency lights are armed. Crew oxygen. A little bit of air in the cabin. Not that they do anything, but it's nice to turn the switches. Alright, the FMC. Cruising altitude today is 32,000 feet. We're just going to go put that right in. We'll do a straight climb to that altitude. So that is all set. Now the current weather here at Innsbruck has winds out of the west at 9 knots, pretty clear skies, and QNH is 1015. So there we go with that. All right. So we can go down now and set up the Mcdo. So we'll just move over a little bit so we can get a view of it. So we'll clear that message. So here's the information. Our nav data is fine. Oh, sounds like the baggage is done. Nav data is fine. So go to our initial. There's LOWI, which is Innsbruck, to EGKK, which is London Gatwick. We will now go over to our alternate, which is EGLL, London Heathrow. If for some reason we can't get into Gatwick, our flight is FL417. I'll put that in there. Cost index of 25, and our cruising altitude, as mentioned and already set there, is 32,000 feet. So flight level 320. Flight plan for today, we're going to take off on the runway 26 on the MOG 1 or MOG T 1R departure, which I'll show you. And at this point in time, we're estimating 26 left.
On behalf of the cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. If you have trouble finding a location for any of your carry-on items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat and somebody will assist you. If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row,
so
please read the exit
26 left arrival via Timba on the Kuna 1G arrival.
Please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be received. You are free to use your portable electronic devices during the boarding process. We ask that larger electronic devices are stowed once we depart from the gate. Thank you and welcome aboard.
So flaps 1 on takeoff, our V1 is 114, our VR is 117, and our V2 is 121. V1 is our kind of our point of no return. So if anything happens on the aircraft before we reach this speed, we can safely stop on the runway. If anything happens after this point and before we actually rotate, unless it's something like an engine goes or a wheel blows out, we will go fly into the air and then deal with the issue. Once we rotate, everything goes into the air. Engine goes out, whatever, we're climbing. And V2 is our minimum climb speed. So that's what those numbers mean. And if we go now to our plan mode We can take a look at our departure. We're going to basically depart straight out, and we're going to fly up this way, heading west along southern Germany, northern Switzerland, and into France. And we fly along, and then we turn northwest up through France, crossing the Channel, and then descending, and it's pretty forward straight in. A few turns to get onto the ILS, and we are there. And what that looks like, I'll just pull up my Navigraph. You can see where we're going on the route here across Switzerland, and then up over France, over the Channel, and landing at London itself. Oh,
We're ready to go when you are.
Sounds like the passengers are all on board.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 417 with service to London Gatwick. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 55 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
Alright, so bags are on board, everything's good, flaps open, we'll get the APU up and running. So we'll be aligned in a minute, and we will be good to go. Well, we're now aligned. So our departure briefing is done, we're all set to go, doors are done, APU's coming online. So we're not going to start until we're pushed back. So we can actually do that while the APU is running up. So we're going to go tail to the right as we push back. It's not a big airport, so we don't have far to go. But we should be good. So we're going to get our pushback guy to come over. And everything, equipment is clear. So pushback is moving in. Hey Ari, how are you? Hope everything is well with you today. You haven't missed much. We just took a little look around Innsbruck Airport here. This is the ORBX Innsbruck. Very nice looking airport. And everyone is on board. Baggage and meals and passengers, and we're just getting ready to do our pushback now and get ready to go. So once again, as soon as we get the nudge, there we go. Parking brake is off. APU is almost all the way up. There it is. So we'll fire up the APU. External power is off. Like I said, we're going to go tail to the right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your complete attention to the flight attendants as they demonstrate the safety features of our aircraft. You will notice a light illuminated above your seat. When this light is illuminated, please fasten your seatbelts low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another and tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle.
Just go straight for a little bit.
Throughout the flight, as we may experience unexpected turbulence.
Right again.
Please take a few moments to now locate one of the several emergency exits on this aircraft. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you.
And I think that's pretty good.
We need to evacuate the aircraft. There is lighting on the floor.
Parking brake is on.
In the event that the cabin loses pressure, an oxygen mask will drop right in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you.
Alright.
Place it firmly over your nose and mouth and secure the elastic band behind your head. Tighten the straps if necessary and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate,
that's fuel pumps, starting engine number 1.
Traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask first and then assist others. Leave your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it's safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is...
Yeah, I mentioned that one of the problems last time coming in here on the last live stream, aside from me being a little high and a little fast, was the ORBX scenery was conflicting with the default scenery creating big humps in the runway, which did not help. But that is resolved, and everything is nice and smooth out there, so we should be good.
Once again, all devices must be in airplane mode and your larger devices must be turned off and stowed at this time. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. Please read it and let a cabin member know if you have any
Alright, sounds like engine 1 is up and running.
questions. Again, we hope you enjoy your flight.
Starting 2. Set the standby to 1.5. There we go. So we've got N2 rotation. EGT is now starting to rise. We've got ignition, fuel flow, N1 is coming up. So we're going to get my co-pilot set on 40, which I always leave him on with the weather radar, and then I use, I'll go to terrain mode on mine just so we can follow the terrain out. Although it's a lot nicer today with minimal clouds, or actually no clouds, really. It's a beautiful clear day. This is Microsoft Flight Sim live weather, and I've checked the MEDAR, and yes, it is actually like this. Although, granted, it is, what is it, 8 o'clock at night in Austria right now? Not 1 o'clock in the afternoon my time, but I wanted to do this as a day flight. Alright, that's engine number 2. So both engines are running. Mode selector goes back to normal, and the APU will come off. Taxi light will go on. So probe heat and windows, come on. Heading indicator and altimeters are set. Standby instruments are set. Radios and avionics are set. Autopilot, we are good. Flight directors will come on. Auto brake is set for max. Flaps 1 takeoff, so flaps 1. Elevator trim 1 up for takeoff. Flight controls. Full left, full right, neutral, full forward, full back, neutral, left rudder, right rudder, neutral. Alright, flight controls are checked. Taxi light is already on. Parking brake is released. It's not a long taxi, so we'll head out to the runway.
The cabin is ready.
Thank you very much. Okay, looks like with this latest update to the mod, they have fixed one of the problems they were having with the aircraft taxiing almost at idle. That's good. We get a little bit of, they've added some weight to it. So we'll get you done and you done. All right, come on. Need more than I thought. First time taxiing with the new updated NX mod, so she's taking a bit of effort. There we go. But I do love the paint scheme on this one. It's a beautiful livery for Austrian.
Well, we're almost there, so let's ding the cabin.
It doesn't make a difference at startup, but it requires less pressure on the takeoff rotation. It's kind of adding a little bit in for you to assist with that. So there's less pull needed to get her nose up and off the ground. That's what the trim is, taking the load off the elevator. So you're kind of forcing it to give you an assist. All right, we are already here at the runway. So we'll do our runway checks. And that's where we're headed. We're going to take off, and then we're going to turn and fly up the valley and out. Hopefully without running into any granite clouds. Okay, so we're all good there. Parking brake set, instruments are checked, engine instruments are checked, takeoff data is set. Nav instruments are set. Landing lights come on. Taxi light to take off. And strobes go to auto. Pitot heat is good, de-ice not required. Transponder goes TARA. PWS is on, weather radar is on, and I'm going to terrain mode here. And we will start the clock. Oop. Parking brake will come off. And we will taxi. We're going to go out, turn right, down to the end of the runway. Oh, forgot to take the parking brake off. And turn around. Beautiful village here. All the modeling, it's not just the airport that they do. They come in and they do all the housing around it and terrain modifications and stuff. Really makes it look fantastic. I do like ORBX's airport work. Let's get a little bit more throttle. So we're gonna swing right, come in and around. I've decreased my bit rate a little bit, hopefully to help with the stream. Yeah, Ari, I did see that, and I left a comment on it for you. It looks better, but they can't, there's no live action waterfalls or anything like that right now. So it is, physically it looks a little bit better, but I'm hoping very soon the North American update will be out, and I'm hoping that's one of the areas they're going to concentrate on and look at. Okay. So here we are at the runway. Brakes are set, 40%. All right, engines are stable. Here we go. Throttle to flex. $80 knots. It's V1, rotate. Climbing up to 17, and flaps are up. Flying the flight director. Thrust levers to climb. Alright, aircraft is accelerating. Autopilot is on. Flaps are up. See how we head up the valley here and then out over the top. We're going to continue to accelerate up the valley. Now I'm seeing it stuttering on my end as well. Let me do something briefly. It seems to correct it sometimes. So I'll just change the screen for a second. Just watching my other computer to see what how it's looking when I come back. It's looking smoother. Okay. I'm still trying to learn about how all this stuff works and bit rates and stuff, so it does take a bit. Anyway, there's 10,000 feet.
Gentlemen, we have now passed 10,000 feet. You may turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the left point. This aircraft is equipped with onboard Wi-Fi. If you wish to connect to the Wi-Fi, you will be required to pay a small fee. We do offer complimentary in-flight TV thanks to our partners. Connect.
It's looking very nice outside. And there's Innsbruck behind us as we climb up the valley. Yeah, she's stuttering again. I'm gonna have to really look at these settings a bit on for the streaming. I mean, my CPU isn't that busy, so it should be able to handle it, but may have to turn it down. I mean, one of the options that they keep talking about is just stream at 720 instead of 1080, which I might have to do. I know some people use a second PC as a streaming and they've got them networked and linked, but I don't know enough about computers to be able to do that. But we're on our way. We are getting some pretty amazing views. I may try, I can't do it now because I'd have to stop the stream, but I may try next time dropping the bitrate down again to what I've heard recommended for like high action FPS games. You lose a little bit of the detail, but we'll see. And if that doesn't work on that one, I may look at going down to 720. Some of it is. Some of it's just on very high. The clouds are at medium, because I have found that the clouds really chew up GPU, and that's what a lot of this game is. The CPU isn't that busy, but the graphics are really chewed up with doing everything. And I'm running a 2080 Nvidia 2080 Super. So we'll have to see. May drop the bitrate down again on the next one, and we'll see how it goes. I may reach out to one or two other guys that are streaming that I've already talked to and see if they can provide some advice for bitrate and stuff. I'm not sure if it's where the bottleneck is, but we'll figure it out. It's a learning experience as we go. So we're flying north just to get out of the Alp region, and then we're going to turn west, again flying over southern Germany, which is where we are now. A little bit over northern Switzerland, and then into France. And then we're going to turn northwest and follow France all the way, or fly up through France all the way to the English Channel. As for my specs, I got my specs as high as I can go. For what I'm seeing on my monitor and for recording the videos. We'll have to see about if I've got to make adjustments there for streaming. I'll send a message to one of the guys and I'll ask them. Yeah, it is looking a little bit choppy, but I haven't really played much with them. Let me just see something. Yeah, it's not going to let me make any changes while we're in stream. There we go. Making our turn westward now. It's looking a little bit smoother. And as I say that, she gets a little bit choppy again. All right, so everything is good. monitoring a little bit of weather. Just coming up for 30,000 feet. This will be a little bit of turbulence. See if that is that. No, wasn't that. Okay. Sometimes she gets a little funky, and cycling the autopilot can help. So when we get to Gatwick, I'm running a mod there. It's a community-based mod that has added a bunch of signs and buildings and stuff to make Gatwick Airport look more like Gatwick Airport. And it looks awesome. I really like what the guy has done with it. Made it look a lot more like an actual airport than a generic one. And since I flew out of there just 2 years ago, it does look pretty good from what I can remember. All right, so we're gonna go into manual speed mode, and we're gonna get the speed up a little bit. We'll go to 7.8. So this was a good test flight to see how she did. She's got a slight rocking there. I'm not sure why. Seems like every time they do an update, there's these things go away and they creep back in. She level out there. Put on autopilot 2. Oh, she's starting to do it again. The joys of flight sim in the early days. Oh, let's see, we got some pretty heavy weather coming up. So the current weather in London, I'll pull it up, is winds are 230 at 9 knots, few clouds at 3,500, temperature is 7 degrees Celsius, so pretty average day. Well, the stuttering may be my internet connection, it may be the computer. I've got a feeling it's more the computer. Interesting. So anyway, in the last week I have made 2 787 flights. Just around 6.5 to 7 hours each. Interesting airplane. A bit different than the Airbus. Of course, longer flights. PACX still thinks I'm in cruise mode. And there's no real way of forcing it to the next phase, as far as I can tell.
Not a problem.
Interesting. Doesn't seem to recognize we've reached cruise level. Yeah, 320. Oh well. So we're currently here, and we're going to kind of cutting the corner here, flying down to here, which is Hawk around Basel in Switzerland, and then we make the turn upwards through France, and it looks like into this weather. But hopefully it stays good. As for the passengers, well, they're just kind of sitting there because they think we're still in climb mode. But that's fine, it's a short flight. They can just sit there. So, Ari, you been getting much time on the simulator recently? I think this week I'm going to start looking at doing those IFR lessons and brush up my skills through that. I've also shifted now that the tour of Wales is done. I've started doing a tour of Ireland. So some neat little airports and places there that we're flying around taking a look at. And of course we're flying the Airbus down through the Caribbean as well right now. She's got a little bit of a wiggle there. Rather annoying. Yeah, they're starting to lock us down too. Our numbers are apparently rising, and they're talking about going into the same type of lockdown we first had in March, where nobody's allowed out and all the businesses are shut down, which is a pain, definitely. Hope it doesn't go that far, but we'll see. So it looks like the stuttering has stopped from what I'm seeing on my my screen. Trying to calculate what our arrival time is. So it's what, an hour? It's 5 hours, 13, 18. Yeah, about an hour for our ETA into London. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to turn the bitrate down to 2500 on the next one, and we'll try that. See how that works. I had a feeling ORBX has gone into that area around Innsbruck and done so much work there that I think that was impacting my frames or the stream. I don't know if you call it dropping frames or what, but see if there's any stats or anything I can look at. No, go away. Yeah, nothing I can see right now that'll show me if something like that was happening, but definitely seems better, and it's definitely getting cloudier out. I don't know where that wiggle has come from. It's been pretty good since they got rid of the porpoising and the oscillations a little while ago, but I don't know, they adjust one thing and it affects something else. Different view here. See where we're headed. Oh, look at that. PACX says we're in cruise now. I wonder if they're doing anything back there. Yeah, definitely some storms over southeastern France, that's for sure. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, there's a couple more have come in. You know, never doing this for the the followers and all that stuff. I'm doing it, one, because I it's fun, and two, hopefully I can help people and provide tips and maybe show them something or give them some advice. I really do like the flight sim community. There's a lot of cool stuff. In fact, even when I was picking up my my honeycomb yoke a week and a bit ago, there's 4 other people in there picking up theirs as well. So it was all we were talking about it and about the flight sim and all that stuff. So it's really cool, and I really do like that. So all about the community and doing what we can. I wonder if this is the wind that's bouncing me around here, but I don't know. I was doing it when it was pretty calm as well. But seems like they're serving snacks and drinks in the back. We're just kind of brushing through the top of these clouds here. If we go take a look at what the crew is doing. There we can see they're moving about the back, serving the passengers. It's pretty. Who's our most disgruntled on board right now? Probably you, Kent Wilkins. What's your problem? You're very hungry and you're very thirsty. Somewhat tired. Well, dude, it's the middle of the day. You shouldn't be tired. How about you? Hungry, very thirsty. Oh, and you're upset. Oh. Okay, and you sitting at the back, hungry and thirsty. Okay. Well, that'll improve. They are going through with the service. About a quarter of the way through now. We go to these people, you can see they're eating and they're not hungry. You're eating and drinking. So they're all getting better. A little bit more satisfied in the back there. Of course, it's monitoring the flight, and it picks up on when we're in cruise and when we're descending, and gives all those public addresses. Alright, so we're about to make our turn to the northwest and head towards England. Now, I use the fuel calculations in Microsoft Flight Sim itself. I'm just looking at my fuel levels. I should have enough. Hopefully we have enough. I usually way overload on my fuel, so I wanted to try to get it a little bit closer. Oh, well, we're going to find out. Yeah, it does add an extra bit, and I like hearing them in the background, and I don't have to go in and edit it in post-production afterwards, or try to force it in during the stream or something, so... It's nice just to let it do its own thing in the back. Well, the weather is nice up here, but oh man, down below, that's probably some horrendous rain. So I'm going to jump back out here again. And we'll go for a side view of the airplane. Let's go something like that. And I'll be back in a minute. Might as well enter our arrival information now. So we'll get an update at Gatwick. So we go to our approach. 0997 is our QNH. Current temperature is 7 degrees. Winds are 220 at 8 knots. Transition altitude is, I believe it's 6,000 feet. Yeah, 6,000 feet. There's that shaking again. And she'll be a... it doesn't matter for that. Decision height on the approach. Will be 300 feet. So Paris is sitting right about here. So we're going to fly up and along the edge of Paris. I think we're all set. Back to our cruise mode. "41 minutes since takeoff. And it looks like we should be coming out of the storm here. Just on the other side as we get up towards Paris itself. So let's hop outside again. And still not seeing much more than cloud at the moment. The window view from the left side of the aircraft. So we're making a turn a little bit more to the north. This is going to take us around Paris. This rocking back and forth really is a little bit disconcerting. I'm just waiting to see us pop out of the clouds here, which we should be shortly. So our approach is the QNAV 1G approach, which brings us into the Gatwick area from the southeast. We have a altitude restriction. Well, hang on. I don't know why I'm just saying this when I can be showing you. So here's the chart. So this is the last waypoint on our en route section, QNAV, and it's the entry point into the star, which is a standard terminal arrival. So this is going to lead us down to Timba, which is a transition point between the arrival and the approach. So here we can see this is saying we have to be at flight level 160, 16,000 feet. The lines, if it just had the line underneath, it would be, we have to be above 16,000 feet. If the line was just on top, it would be, we have to be below 16,000 feet. Lines on both sides, we have to be at there. So it's 16,000 feet there, 7,000 feet here, flight level 70. Technically 070 for 7,000 feet. There's also speed restrictions. 250 knots here at KKE 64, and at Timba 220 knots. So we're flying up here along the route. This is QNAV here, and this is where we transition to the star. Once we hit Timba, we then transition to the runway, the approach. So from Timba, we'll be heading to May, which is a hold point, and there's the airport there. But we're going to head to May because that is the entry point for the ILS for runway 26 right. So we're coming in this way from Timba. And we have to be down to 4,000 feet. Get to May, then we turn north to be 2,000 feet, and then we come around, intercept the ILS here, and that takes us in on the ILS, and we're in. And those are the two sections. There's the approach, and then there's the the arrival, and then there's the approach. Now, there's another chart with more information, but not really recorded. You can see how we're going here along. There's the end of the arrival, then we do the little bit over to the May VOR, and then we come up and intercept, and we're there. And that is the way that all works. And we just keep chugging along here. So again, we're Paris is about, I don't know, 80 miles that way. So it's up in this area over here, and we're kind of going up and around. And rocking like crazy. Still in these clouds too. Hopefully they clear up a bit. Just sit back and enjoy the view from the cockpit. Well, it looks like we're finally out of that storm. Kind of left it behind us, I guess. But we got clear skies where we are. As we continue upwards, so there's Kunav, and I'm what? That's our point. We got to be at 13,000 feet, 16,000 feet. So we're getting there. Everybody's more or less satisfied in the back. Good bit of wind pushing us. You can see how we're supposed to be flying this way, but due to the wind, we've got a almost 15-degree deviation to keep us on course. Anyway, about 50 miles over there is the city of Paris. Very nice over the French countryside. So a little bit more weather up ahead. Looks like that's right at the coast and over the channel. So looking good so far. We'll start a slow descent when we get the waypoint hits about 80, and that'll get us down to 13 or 16,000 feet. Before we do that, I think we'll get
got it.
we'll get a coffee sent up to the cockpit. Fuel's gonna be tight. I think I'm actually gonna cheat it and do this. Just don't trust fuel burn rates right now. If it was accurate and everything, if it was like a third-party aircraft completely, like when Aerosoft's CRJ comes out, which we'll be flying as well, I trust the fuel burn rates on that because I know they've been programmed in, but between Microsoft and with them changing things constantly and the NX project tweaking things, I don't know what the actual fuel burn rate is. I mean, I can see it here, but I mean, this is showing me 15.8, so 3,000, 4,000, or 3,160 kilograms an hour for both engines, and yet when I flew one of my longest flights in this thing, over 7 hours, I was at 2,600. So it's hard to calculate how much you should have on board. Yeah, fuel is very cheap in the sim. That is very true. Look, I found an extra 2 tons of fuel in my back pocket. Anyway, I can see I can see that weather up ahead. A massive cloud there. A little bit of hesitation there. Cloud's the killer. I've got my clouds back to medium detail, just because it sure eats frames. When I was doing my testing, I very quickly found that out. As much as I would love to have detail down there with the clouds, not gonna happen at the moment. Not unless I went with, you know, a 3000 series GPU running 24 gigs of memory or something. Which is not going to happen. Not right now, anyway. So you can see the airport. It's now come into view. So it's almost a straight in with a slight right jog to line up with the ILS, so it's pretty good. Just check the frequency, 110.9. If we go down here and tune in our radio nav, ILS doesn't have the frequency. Interesting. 110.9. 26 right, it's got that. Oh, it's in there now. So one final MEDAR check before descent. Yeah, 220 at 8 knots, CAVLOC, which means ceiling and visibility okay. So it's clear skies. 297 and 7 degrees. So a 0997. I'll set that in here on our standby. There we go. And we should have that already entered in. 0997. When set, everything's set. And if we go to our flight plan, 26 right. All right. So there's the 80 knots. So we're going to set you to 16,000. We're going to go back to 280. Started our descent. About 1,000 feet per second at the moment. Oh, came through that little bit of cloud. And we got some purple ahead. Wonderful. This could be interesting. And I think I'll just get them seat belted up now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the flight crew has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelt.
I think it might get bumpy as we head down through there. I know when we were doing our flight planning when I was flying was you calculate the fuel you need, you add 30 minutes of extra fuel, and then it was always you added another 30 minutes just for faffing about, and then another 10% of everything just for luck. Because the last thing, what are they, the saying, the useless things for pilots is altitude above you, fuel left on the ground, and stuff like that. You might as well take it with you. So we might as well. We're not quite in approach mode yet, but good enough. We'll bring up the information. It is a very striking paint scheme, I'll say that. Alright, well, we're ahead of schedule on this flight. Tend to run ahead of schedule on all the flights. I'm not sure why some of the planning stuff is so far out. Okay, so we're about 45 miles out from I'm out. Got 13,000 feet to go. Now Should be alright at 1,000-foot descent. Oh, it's AMDUT, AMDUT. So from AMDUT to Timba, it is 26.1 miles, and I've got to descend 6, 7, 8, 9,000 feet. Plus I got a speed restriction that kicks in at KKE 64. Alright. Forgot they changed how this works. If you do scroll wheel, it'll move it by 10. If you do left mouse click, it'll move it by 1. That's a little change they made to make it easier for getting around and turning the dials. Only works for like the speed one, and I guess the heading. This one already has thousands and hundreds broken down. So we're now, although you can't see it, we're crossing the coast from France into the English Channel, or over the English Channel. And yeah, I'm just going to open up my descent here. So open descent, there's 3 ways you can descend, or climb actually. There's managed, in which case it will use the FMS, which is what the vertical nav is for. Doesn't work in this airplane. Actually, it doesn't work in any of them. It's still broken in the sim. There is open descent, so this will hold 280 and descend as fast as it can, holding that. So you can see how we're going down now. And then there is the vertical speed, which I am going to turn on again and just bring us out to 2200. And that you can control the rate of descent, and then the engines will try to keep your speed at where you've got it set, if you have auto throttles on. So we're going down a little too fast. So again, it's here at AMDUT, which is about 21 miles out, that we got to be at 16,000. So we'll make it down. A little bit of a weather shift. So we're entering into the clouds now. All right, now I'm sitting a little low. Let's get our positions sorted out again. There we go. So our approach speed for today is 147 as it stands right now. Yeah, 147. Alright, so 7 miles from Kunav, 20 miles from AMDUT. We've got 3,000 feet to go. Let's ease her off a little bit. And we're starting to punch through the big clouds. there's 18,000 feet, so we will switch over to normal, and it was 0997 for altitude. Although technically you don't have to do that till 6,000 because that's where the transition altitude is, but we're going to be a little busy single pilot operating this 2-pilot aircraft. In and out of the clouds. $16,000 coming up, speed at 280. Alright, we'll let her level off. 1 hour and 16 minutes from takeoff. And punching through the clouds. Pretty bad clouds too. So technically I should be diverting around. We're still reporting clear skies. I don't know. This is going to be interesting to see how this matches up when we finally get there. CAVOC means ceiling and visibility okay, which means very few clouds and just wisps and no haze. So we're 5 miles out, and then we got to drop to 7,000, and we got a 250 knot. Limit coming up as well. Take this down to 7,000. I'll take that down to take it at 15. So 7,000 at Timba, so about 25 miles out. Speed is back to 250. Alright, everything is looking good. According to this, we may pop out of the, like this edge of the system may be right at the airport. So speed is back. 20 miles to Timba. 5,000 feet to go. Or 6,000 feet to go. Just increase the rate of descent slightly. I'd rather be early in holding altitude than be over. Alright, so from Timba. I'll be at 2,000. Okay. 4,000 at May, and then 2,000 after that. Coming up for 10,000. One of the things you learn in your IFR training is to trust the instruments, and that's kind of the hardest thing, is to get over it. It does take a while, and having done a bit of instrument flying during my regular license, you learn enough to know, even though you're uneasy, like follow what they're saying, especially when they're matching. If you got some backups and stuff, yeah, and that's why knowing your flight plan.
On our final descent into London Gatwick, flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in a full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you. Please complete all Wi-Fi related tasks and stow any larger electronics.
So landing lights, landing system will come on. Fuel quantities are checked. Flaps up and gears up. Yeah, you get nervous, and that's why last time when I came in high and fast at Innsbruck, I wasn't trusting the instruments, and I wasn't down low enough and slow enough, and that led to issues. So yeah, you got to learn to trust what they're telling you, and that's why I'm reading. I've got the charts open. I'm looking at what altitudes I should be at and where, so it's all making sense when I'm looking at where I am, what it's saying, and all that. So, but yeah, it is nervous when you're getting low to the ground. You still can't see the airport. And then all of a sudden, you come down to your minimums, and then you pop out of the bottom of the clouds, and there it is sitting right in front of you. It's a pretty great feeling. A lot of relief. All right, 7,000 feet coming up, and we got to be at 220 now, so speed's coming back. Starting to level at 7,000. As soon as we pass Timba, we drop into 4,000 feet. So there's Timba, 4,000 feet. So once we turn at May, we're going to drop to 2,500, and that should set us up for the capture. You can see we're already picking up IWW, yeah, 109 or 110.9. So we're picking up the ILS, and it looks like we're right on the edge of the storm. So I don't know what that. I'm looking at live MEDARs coming from around the world, and It's showing something different than what the game is showing. I don't know. This is more interesting. It's just a mass of cloud we're in right now. There's 5,000. We have 4 miles to go, so we're gonna increase our descent. Get down to 4,000, which we're not gonna do in time, but that's fine. When we make the turn, we'll go down to 2,000 or 2,500. Gonna be a few hundred feet high, that's fine. Oh, starting to see the bottom of the clouds. There's the turn. And 2,500 feet. Oh, no, we're not doing an open descent. Come on. Well, we're at the bottom of the clouds. There's the airport over there. All right, we're heading up to intercept. So speed will go to 210, and we will go with the first notch of flaps. So landing lights are on, taxi light is on, ground spoilers are set, auto brake is set, flaps 1 set, and speed coming back to 180. Alright, speed is below 200, flaps 2. Train mode is on. Yeah, we're good on the train. No. Approach mode is on. There's the airport. Speed coming back to 160. Flaps 3. Localizer is on. Autopilot 1. There we go. Localizer is active. $10 miles out. Gear down. Flaps down. Speed coming back down to 147. Let's just Set that again. There we go. All right. Waiting to capture the localizer or waiting to capture the glide slope? And glide slope is captured. Oh, she got a little bit of ice on her from flying in the clouds. But we're all configured for landing. Everything's done. Let's make sure the cabin crew are seated.
Cabin crew, please take your seat.
Alright, landing gear check down. Autopilot is required. Go around. Altitude is set. Thrust. Auto thrust is set. Landing memo, no blue. Landing speed is set. And cabin is secure. For some reason it's got us slightly to the right. Alright. My airplane. Let's get this lined up a little bit better. There we go. Bit of a wind. A little bit high. This new yoke is making this very nice. $500 feet, we're a little low. Looking good. Whoa, a little bounce. I think I was probably a little bit fast coming in. Okay, 60 knots. Reverser's off. Auto brake is off. We'll exit here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to London Gatwick. The local time is 3 p.m. and it's currently about 10 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us and we hope to see you again soon.
Alright, we'll park it up here. Parking brake is on. So spoilers are set, flaps go up, engine mode selector is normal, landing lights are off, strobe lights are off, taxi light is on. We'll get the APU ready to go up and running. Brake temperatures are good. Transponder is off. That's off. Weather radar is off. Elevator trim goes back to takeoff. Flaps open so the APU can come on. And we will head over to our gate. I gotta come off with you. All right, Ari. We'll see you next week. Have a good day. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a back taxi on this runway, and then get off here. And there's the improved London Gatwick. Looks very nice. It's got signs everywhere, proper indicators. You'll see when we get to where we're parking. You can actually see the gate numbers. The vehicles they've put in, they've done some of the bridges and the towers look good. All the pillars around the lights made it look a lot nicer. And yeah, she's getting all choppy again on the stream. Alright, definitely something I'm going to look at. I'm wondering if the processing power to run the sim is leaching from the streaming portion of it. No. Alright, we're going to go up here. And there's our terminal right over here. This is where we operate out of. Looks like 105 is free, so that's where we're going to head over to. That's where the bigger aircraft fly out from over here. So we got somebody waiting for us there. All right, let's turn in. See, it's got all the proper runway or aircraft signage and stuff to make it look a lot more realistic. There we go. And here we are. We are parked. So, parking brake goes on. Thrust levers are at idle. Ground connection is made. Ground operations, electrical power is set. Engines will go off. Let's get the jetway moving over. Parking brake is set. Nav lights will stay on. That'll go off. That'll go off. APU not required. So that will get shut off. Anti-ice passenger signs are off. And they're getting off the aircraft. So APU's turned off. Flight directors, landing systems will come off. Beacon's fine. No messages. And everything else is set. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Still working on getting the details of the stream set up. It's a work in progress, but we'll get it for next time. Yeah, Liverpool. I'll take a look. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.